Okay, cool. So we're going to take that I, but we're going to kind of make a seesaw out of it, all right? So we're going to do, and I'm going to try and do bold, because I don't know. Can everybody see the board all right? I'm doing the best that I can with that, but I am going to show some graphics. So if you're watching on Facebook, tune in on Twitch, and there's actually going to be some graphics in the stream that will be much clearer representations of what I'm going to draw on the board. But I'm going to draw on the board, so hopefully you can see. So if you have problems, you can't read a word or anything, just let me know and I'll clarify, okay? So we're going to make a seesaw right here, all right? Okay, so this is going to be how we balance stress, okay? This is everything that your physical form has to adapt to, okay? Adaptation is something that we don't talk about a whole lot, but it's something that's absolutely essential to being alive. Once you can't adapt to a situation, you die, okay? Everything that happens in, externally and internally requires an adaptation within the body, okay? So over here on this side, we're going to put two. First off, we're going to have activity. I'm trying to write dark for anyone who comes in later. Okay, so we have activity. Can we see that up there? Oh, good, that shows up all right. So my handwriting is atrocious anyway, so I'm not going to apologize for that, but I will translate. So down here, what we got? Hey, yes. What's your handle on Twitch? My Twitch handle is in the description for this. You can click on it. It's SeptiXIV. Okay, so if you're watching on Facebook, it's the first two names on my username, SeptiXIV, but no spaces. Okay, so you can search me on Twitch and load it up there. Okay, all right. Down here below it is going to be nutrition. All right. Okay. So we have activity and nutrition. Okay. So let's kind of talk about these two. All right. Activity is obviously what I'm doing now. I'm very animated. I'm moving around a lot and all good stuff. So that even counts as activity. Going to work, whether you walk or you drive, do exercises, don't do exercises, read. Especially like more complex concepts, stuff like that can just wear your brain out and stuff. Okay, no, this is nutrition for the S, for the eyes. Okay, thank you. All right, so activity is anything that you do with the physical body, okay? And that, when I said reading, we talk about the mind, but that's your brain, okay? It gets wore out too. It gets tired as well. So activity, okay, it's what you're doing. Now down here, obviously, we have nutrition, which is what you put in your body. It's how you nourish and replenish the energy of your body, okay? It's how you preemptively take care of the body going forward if the activity were to change, okay? So if you have a healthy nutrition, if you have a spike in activity, you should be all right, okay? So we're going to have, this is like one little seesaw paddle here, okay? This is how these two balance each other pretty well, okay? If you're paying attention. So if your nutrition is crap, okay, you're not going to have a lot of energy for activity, okay? And if you try to do a lot of activity, you're going to have physical adaptations to that. You're going to have cramps. You're going to have stomach issues. You're going to have headaches. You're going to have all sorts of things because your body's like, look, we don't have what we need to do this right now. Come on. And over here, it can also be if you have too much, you can't eat a huge steak dinner or whatever and then go run a couple miles. I would not recommend it. Your body will adapt poorly to that. It will be a mistake. So you can see how you want to keep an eye on what your activity level is generally, okay? And make sure your nutrition is balancing that. Now, I'm not a dietitian, so I'm not going to tell you how to eat. Okay, I'm not going to tell you to be vegan or vegetarian or to go full paleo or carno or anything like that. I will tell you what I do, which is I'm gluten intolerant apparently. That's a thing in my family. We just don't do well with wheat, okay? And so I have some offsets. Now, I also, we make our own kefir milk, and so I have that in the mornings with a shake. I drink black coffee, probably about 2 to 4 cups a day, okay? And then I'll have 1 to 2 meals a day. And those will either be full veggie or they'll be a mix of veggie and meat, and sometimes they'll be all meat. So I dabble in all of it. I make no judgments and whatnot. You have to find whatever nutrition benefits you, because the nutrition that benefits me might not do anything for you. And I have a restriction that my body has kind of put on me that you might not have. Okay? So you got to find this for yourself. Whatever your daily, general activity is, and whatever nutrition is optimal for your body, okay? And you can do your own research and your own experimenting with how that goes, okay? So paleo sucks for me, right? No, I did actually try the carnivore diet for probably 6 or so months last year? 2 years ago. And it was interesting. I mean, it wasn't adverse, but it wasn't optimal. I ended up balancing back out after, into more of an balanced omnivore diet. So, okay. I'm a bit lost. I get where we are, but I missed why we are talking about the balance of things. Okay, cool. So, this is, okay, I'm trying to make this where you can read it well. Okay. Balance. Stress. And adaptation. All right, can y'all read this bottom one? Do I have to sit here and darken everything in, or you can see that says stress and adaptation, which that more looks like an H, so we'll at least fix that. And okay, we're gonna do a total redo with that A. That I just, woo! There we go. Adaptation, we got that? We good? Okay, can read, awesome, thank you. So, that's what this is. We're showing how stress and adaptation are balanced in the body, okay? These are 2 of the factors. We have activity and nutrition, and those are in very close relationship to one another, okay? And when we just kind of went over that, you need to make sure your activity is balanced with your nutrition so your body has the optimal energy that it needs to expend and recover, okay? So that's 2 balancing things there. Now, the other side, we're going to have... Oh, I'm going to give myself a little more room there because it's a bigger word, okay? We have environment. Okay, everybody read that? Environment. Let the light adjust. Okay, environment. All right, and inner. Oh, come on, James. Inner. Writing vertically is weird. Inner state. Now, before I go any further on this, I do want to make sure you understand these are not my ideas. I did not come up with this, okay? This was passed on to me. It has been passed on for I don't know how long. I know of 2 gentlemen in the past century who talked about these ideas, okay? And they're known only as the teaching ideas. There's, I can send you links. I can help you find more materials. If these things sound kind of interesting, you want to look more into it, cool. But I didn't come up with this. This is something that was presented to me. I've worked with it for 5 years now and added on to all the stuff I had already been doing in the previous years. And so this checks out for me. I've experimented with this. I'm just speaking from experience in this. And I'm not changing anything. The only thing that different is me doing the whole XIV thing to kind of give myself an outline. Everything else is the same. And if you're on Twitch, I'm going to switch the slide over so you can see from a old teaching manual a little clearer thing. So if you're watching on Twitch, you can see this graphic. I'll read it for you who are on Facebook. And it says, adaptation by X is a constant balancing action to 4 variables. Now, X, by the way, going back to self-remembering, okay, which is the X in the XIV, okay, X is a stand-in for the wordless, okay, the thing you can't describe. It is a stand-in like in algebra. We don't know what it is, but we can see its interactions within the equation, okay? It is the biological life force, okay? It is whatever's going on between the DNA and RNA relationship that is progressing through life in the way that it is. It is the way the whole cosmos has formed and come about to bring about the conditions that were right for life and that keep propelling us forward. X is a way of saying, I don't know what it is, but I see that it's there. So we're looking at, like, when you see a dead body, you know that there's no life in it. There are obvious signs that there is no X in that, no life in that. And when life is in something, it's there. You can notice it. So just checking chat. So adaptation by X is a constant balancing action of 4 variables. Okay, and this means that the body, the life force in the body, is constantly balancing out these stresses from these 4 different things, okay? So first we have environment over here, the way it's listed on the graphic. You're just transfixed. All right. Environment, okay? What is going on around one, okay? This is 1. You are 1. They're a 1. He's a 1, she's a 1, everybody's a 1, okay? We're a 1 expression of X, okay, of this life, okay? So environment is what's going on around me, all right? Well, you can see my environment a little bit. It's actually kind of warm in here, so I may put on a fan a little bit later because this room gets bad circulation. So I'm a little warm, okay? My environment's making me perspire, and it's just a good thing y'all aren't here to smell that. Just kidding, I don't stink. Anyway, so environment is what's going on. So an example of environment, okay? If you're not a smoker, okay? And I quit smoking cigarettes regularly about 2 years ago, but every time I go into a bar that allows smoking inside, the next morning my throat is hoarse, my nose is congested, and I have to like go through a bit of a purge to hawk all that out and blow my nose out and all that good stuff, okay? It's not pleasant, okay? But what was that? That was X, this one, adapting to a stressful environment, not used to a smoke-filled room. And so my body was like, okay, we're going to exude mucus to protect the membranes. We're going to, protect the throat. We're going to coat it with a layer of stuff. And it adapted to that. But it was just a one-time thing that night. And so the next morning, it's not the appropriate environment. I'm not in a smoky room anymore. I don't need that adaptation. But that's what that is. So that's an example of environmental adaptation, okay? It's what's going on outside of the body, okay? Number 2 is the inner state or inner feelings as it's on the graphic in there, okay? And that's what one feels, okay? That's how you feel about it, okay? It's not saying, oh man, it's warm in here. It's me being like, God, it's so hot. I can't believe it. I wish the air was on and it would circulate better in here. I wish this green marker would stay up here. See, sometimes it works. Anyway, so what one feels is what you're feeling about the environment, what you're feeling about your activity, what you're feeling about nutrition. If you're running because you're one of those masochists like my wife that likes to just run miles and miles and miles, then you could be running and being like, this is awesome. Oh, this is so great. I feel wonderful. My body's vibing, all that good stuff. Okay? Or you could be like me, and in mile and a half, you're going, oh my God. Okay, no, I'm keeping up. We're going full 3 miles. oh God, why did I commit to this? You know, you can have very different feelings during activity, okay? And that's going to affect your stress levels, okay? And you can also have feelings about your nutrition. You know, you could be happy as a lark eating ramen, you know, and sipping on Kool-Aid. And that's just fine. Your inner state is actually up, okay? And yeah, there's my wife. They're going, she's like, it's wonderful. We're running. Okay, so you could feel great about eating those things, and your inner state is up. Now, your body may be doing some physical adaptation based off of the off of how the body actually interacts with ramen and Kool-Aid, but at least your inner state is in a good mood. You know, you're not having an adaptation because you're not feeling this is horrible. Or you could be having a wonderful dinner and you could just feel real sour about it. You know, just it's not good enough, whatever, you know, you just feel bad. And even though your body is going to get the nutrition that it needs, your inner state's kind of throwing that off because you're getting down, okay? And so then number 3 on here says activity, what one does, okay? What one does is, like I said, that's your activity, okay? Nutrition is what one consumes, okay? So, what is going on around one? What one feels, what one does, what one consumes, okay? So, we have these 4 things. So, we're pretending this is a seesaw and this is a seesaw, but it's attached to one big seesaw here, okay? So, this is like a circus-style balancing act that's going on here between these 4 dynamic things, okay? And so these, you're really only going to be able to figure out for yourself, okay? You're going to have to experiment with your own nutrition. What works for you, okay? Maybe veganism works for you. Maybe you're allergic to meat. You know, who knows what it is? You got to do this. That's you. I'm not talking about nutrition tonight. This is the last part I'm going to talk about it, okay? Activity, you know, one of the people who talked about this said he tried to move every joint at least once every day. And he would park far away from the grocery store and he would walk then, and that was the only walking he did. But he tried to make sure he moved everything at least once every day, and he considered that to be enough activity, and that man lived to be over 90 years old. So, you know, but you've got to see what this is. You know, some, like my work, I end up working multiple miles a day with one of my clients who is autistic and just loves to walk. So 4 days a week, I'm for sure walking anywhere from 2 to 10 miles, okay? So I have that set into my routine, but then I can choose, like on the weekend, if I want to go biking or something like that, which I love to do. So it's a matter of figuring out what activity works for you and what nutrition works for you. Now, your environment is going to change, okay? You're going to go into, you know, pubs or whatever that smoke, you know, and so you're going to have that. You're going to go outside where there's, you know, a lot of traffic, a lot of noise, you know, danger, Will Robinson, because there's cars, you know, you got to pay attention to that. Those can definitely affect your environment and your inner state. You get hit by one. And so your environment's constantly changing. So you need to be aware of what is going on around you, okay? And making sure that you are paying attention to that and you're exerting what you need to do based off of what the environment shows, okay? Now the inner state. This is where we're really going to harp on tonight because I can only give you anecdotes of environment and activity and nutrition. These are things you're just going to have to work with day to day, okay? And that's your job right there for this. I can't talk any more about those things. But inner state, we can talk about that. And a lot of people don't like to talk about that, okay? Because it's messy. You know, when you're trying to go to sleep at night and you got all those thoughts just kind of going on, ticking on in your head, you know, the little meme of the brain like just throwing a random question out there or thought, and you just end up sitting up all night regretting something that happened in 5th grade, and, you know, whatever it is, you know, those things are the things we're talking about. Those are the things that we need to dive into. Okay, so let's see. Interstate, I got it. All right. And slow me down. If I'm going too fast, let me know. Ask questions, okay? So I don't want to leave anybody behind. I'm not in any hurry, despite how fast I'm talking. I'm very verbose, and I like to talk, and I'm halfway decent to, at it, as I just, lose a word right there in the middle of the thing. So, is everybody clear on this before we focus more on this? Okay? And get like 1s for yes, 2s for no, anything. If anybody has an issue, ask it. We'll come back to it, okay? I'm going to dampen this napkin real quick.